Hey guys, it is July 12th, 2022. I thought it was time for another garden tour. It's been about a month since I filmed the last one, so I will link that one down below so you can see like the kind of growth that you would expect in that amount of time. But we're in Zone 9B, Central Florida, growing mostly in these 8 raised beds behind me, and we are kind of slowly trying to build up the soil around them. It's mostly just Florida sugar sand right now, but we're using nitrogen fixers and weed blocks and things like that I'll show you. So yeah, let me show you the garden. Alright, walking in this first bed, we have these Thai soldier long beans, and they are still flowering. I'm very impressed with these. I planted these seeds like I think the beginning of March, and it's mid-July right now, and they are just doing so well. Okay, and then down here there's some sort of pepper growing right here. I don't remember what type it is. So we don't label the things that we put in the garden beds just because we haven't really found a good way to do it without just having like plastic all over the beds. So we just kind of wait until it fruits and then figure out what it is. And I've figured some things out since the last garden tour I did, so it's kind of been fun, and I'll show you what those varieties are. But yeah, so we have that little hot pepper right there, and then a little okra right here that has just been struggling so bad. I guess from transplant shock. After this plant right here, I quit transplanting okra. I just don't do it anymore. It doesn't do well at all. And then all this is just so much torpedo grass. I debated giving this bed a rest this season and just like covering it up and trying to get rid of that. I mean, you can't really get rid of torpedo grass, but I kind of wish I had done that, but it's okay, everything's still growing. So we have another hot pepper here, and then another hot pepper here that is actually getting its first little pepper. Still can't really tell what it is though. And then this is cranberry hibiscus. I said in the last video that I was just gonna keep it really small and short and use it for cuttings and chop and drop and stuff like that, just so this okra could grow. But this okra is not growing, so I don't know, maybe I'll just, I don't know. But this is really, really tasty. If you've never tried it, it's like a sour, lemony, kind of sweet leaf. It kind of tastes like sorrel, if you've had that. And then in the fall, it has these really beautiful hibiscus flowers. Really cool. And then here, with all the grass, we have a little sisu spinach clump. And then a Okinawan pink okra. And then over here, the okra is starting to flower a ton, and we're actually at the point where we need to be harvesting it like at least once a day. But the okra flowers are so beautiful. They're like velvety on the inside. So all the ones in the raised beds are all Okinawan pink. And then I think the ones out there, I think they're heavy hitter. They're supposed to produce really well. So this bed here, we have these 2 okras. We have a nice big sisu spinach clump, one of our bigger ones. We have a few celery plants that are just hanging on and still producing, so that's cool. This is longevity spinach, which is pretty tasty, and it's supposed to be super, super healthy for you. Gynera procumbens is the Latin name if you wanted to look this one up. It's a perennial, and I think like 9 or 10 zone and above. We're in 9B and it grows just fine. It dies back a little bit in the winter, but that's a good one. And then this is a pepper. I didn't know what it was in the last garden tour, but I found out that it's a shishito. And these are so good. They're like They kind of have a little bit of a lemony flavor if you just eat them raw, but they're so tasty. And then another sisu spinach clump, and another celery, and another celery. I have some transplants that I'm going to be filling up this bed with, and I will go show you guys. Okay, so the next bed, again, 2 okra plants. And this here, this whole thing is actually 1 plant. We're experimenting this year with topping the okra. And as you can see, like sometimes it just goes into 2 different parts. But this one, this one went totally crazy. This has like 4 different main branches now. So yeah, this is a really cool one. But the reason we're trying that is just because okra gets so tall and skinny and it kind of flops over. It almost grows like a sunflower. So we're just trying to grow it a little bushier. So we'll see how that goes. But the flowers are so beautiful. So beautiful. And you have to pick okra so often, like at least once a day in the height of the season. So we have 2 okras, another big sisu spinach clump down here, and then a celery. Those celeries are just hanging on. More sisu spinach, more sisu spinach. This is a habanero that has some peppers on it. This is a sunflower. I thought it was like a Titan or a Mammoth variety, but it's really short. I'm not sure why. Maybe it just didn't do so well, but it just opened the other day, so very beautiful. And then we have some strawberries down here that have some flowers, but I don't think they have any berries right now. This has spread a lot since we got it, which is so awesome. This is another shishito pepper. Very yummy. Eggplant. I believe this is the camo eggplant. Here's a pepper down here. I'm pretty sure this is the ahi cherapita, which we have some fruit on and one over here that I'll show you. Another habanero with some peppers. And then a jalapeno with a few peppers. And then another eggplant. I want to say this is the Rosa Bianca variety. And then here's some radish sprouts. I keep hearing about people growing radishes in the summer just for the seed pods. I guess those are really tasty in stir fries and things, so I wanted to try that out. So I'm expecting these to just go right to seed, but that was the point of it. Okay, so here is our mint bed. And no, I do not regret doing this at all. Mint is way less invasive than the torpedo grass, especially here in Central Florida. And honestly, it makes a great ground cover, and everything else is able to grow just fine. So no, I do not regret this. Granted, it has been only about a year since we planted this, so I'm not telling you to plant mint in your raised beds. I'm just saying that I really like it so far. So yeah, here's the mint bed. Wow, look, it's flowering. That is lovely. So we'll probably have mint seeds all over and it'll just be all over the garden, but it smells incredible. Okay, so what do we have here? This is a Anaheim chili pepper. We've gotten a ton of peppers off of this one. And then a Black Beauty eggplant that we topped as well, so it kind of is just going all over the place. And it has one just little eggplant on it right now, but a ton of flowers. So that's good. And then another eggplant right here that looks like it's getting its first flower. And I believe this is the camo variety. And then here is our fun bean bed. So along the, you can't really tell, but these are the long sides of the bed, and then these are the short sides. The long sides we have red ripper cowpeas, and then the short sides we have those Thai soldier long beans that we have right there. And this was planted maybe a month ago, maybe like a little longer than that, I don't quite remember. But the cool thing about this is it's like totally covered, but this pepper right here is still growing just fine. I think this is an ahi charapita. And then we put a papaya in this bed just for fun, just because we really love papayas. And this has grown so much since we put it in. But yeah, this is starting to produce lots and lots of beans. And it's just, this is probably my favorite bed right now. It's so full and lush and fun. So yeah. So I'll quickly show you like back here, because there's really not too much going on quite yet. I forget the variety of this sunflower, but this just opened. So that's nice. Another cranberry hibiscus that I should top so it gets bushier. Now this is the best leaves to eat because they're tender and they're the tastiest. I could also be taking cuttings right now, but that's okay. We have a watermelon back here that is like kind of hard to see just because of all the grass. But it's got a lot of flowers, and it goes like way back here and way over here, all the way over here. I think I saw a melon on it, but it's kind of hard to tell. So yeah, that's the strawberry watermelon, which I think is native to Florida. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then I'm wanting to plant out all of these mulched areas, but it's just kind of getting taken over a lot by the grass. But I have an okra right here. Lots of passion fruit back here. We transplanted the native passion fruit, the Passiflora incarnata, into the garden, and it just kind of spread all over, which is fine with us. We love passion fruit. And we don't have a ton of things, like vining things in here, so that can take a lot of vining space if it wants to. Another cranberry hibiscus. Here's this okra, the heavy hitter okra. We topped this one as well, and it looks like it has like 3 main branches. So yeah, we've gotten quite a few pods off of that already. Here's our Seminole pumpkin that was eaten by the deer, but it looks like it's coming back okay. We've already harvested 2 pumpkins off of that. And then we have a few plants kicking back here. Here's another okra, camo eggplant, and that might be it. Like I said, I have some transplants that I'm going to be filling in the gaps with. Another cranberry hibiscus, and then this is a lemon cucumber. I think this actually might be 2 plants. It's not the healthiest just because mostly the soil back here is just not that great quite yet, but we're just working on it. So there's that. We have a muscadine grape here, some bean sprouts along the fence. I've been planting a ton of these Thai soldier long beans because we've had so many seeds of them. There's so many seed pods that have dried out. So we have like 1,000 of these seeds right now. So I've just been putting them all over just to work on the soil in the garden. And then we've been planting sunflowers. These are just a few days old. See the sunflower sprouts. So Yeah, sunflowers are supposed to be pretty good for the soil too. And then this is perennial peanut. I don't remember the Latin name, but sometimes it goes by pinto peanut. But this is a nitrogen fixing ground cover that we'll plant in here as well. These are Thai soldier long beans that I planted at the same time as these ones. And we've just only gotten a few beans off of these just because it's like sand right here. But mostly we're just planting the beans just to work on the soil. So. And then I planted some more Thai soldier long beans here and right here. And this is a purple possum passion fruit. And it was getting eaten really bad by, I forget what type of caterpillar is like this is the host plant for it. But it was just getting eaten so bad by that, and now it's coming back, so. We have a few marigolds in here. And then, I think I just put more bean seeds right here, but they're not popped up yet. And then this is the Chinese red noodle bean here. We have blueberry, a pigeon pea there, which is like a tropical pea, and then more Thai soldier long beans. A blueberry and strawberries. It's a sunflower. I think it's like chocolate cherry or something. They're supposed to be really, really cool. And then back here, I planted winged beans, which are supposed to be so cool. So hopefully these can make some beans. Have another blueberry. Oh, almost just slipped. And then another pigeon pea and another pigeon pea. Actually, I should top these. Just pinch the top so it bushes out a little bit. But yeah, that's about it for around the raised beds. Yeah, mostly we're just planting like nitrogen fixers and things like that around the raised beds just because the soil is like sand. And then we laid out these two tarps right here. I believe they're both 8x10, so this is an 8x20 area. Just a couple months ago, maybe 6 weeks to 2 months ago, just to kill all the grass in this area. And then we'll plant some more rows out here. We're thinking of doing a bunch of flowers, but we might put some transplants in here too. I have some peppers and some eggplants on the side of the house that I'll go show you guys. This is another one of my favorite beds right now. So we have in the middle these Chinese red noodle beans that I thought were completely done, but then they just started flowering again. So there's that. And then on both sides we have Haramadu melons, which are just doing so good here. There's a few melons. There's a small one. Here is a bigger one. And then over here we have a bigger one. But they're just setting so many fruit. It's crazy. I've not grown these before. They're supposed to be really sweet and delicious, but I'm not sure how big they get. So we're just gonna watch for them to change color, and we will see about those. So another sisu spinach clump, which should get topped again. I like to grow these things really bushy. We love this plant so much. I'm not going to talk about it in this video. I'll just link the video that I made about this plant below. But it is very awesome. And let's go to the other side. Oh, you know what? There's an okra here. And then I think there's a pepper right here. Don't know what kind. And then another okra. And these are the Okinawan pink. which is what we mostly grow. They're very sweet and delicious. Here is an Okinawan pink, okra, some pods on there, and then a big Thai basil clump, which is getting old. We should plant some new basil soon. And then there's a bunch of tomato plants around here. I don't even know how many there are, but they just came up from seed from last year. They look like the Midnight Snack cherry tomatoes, which is probably what they are, but they definitely could be a hybrid of another tomato that we had growing. Oh, there's an almost ripe melon. Oh my gosh. That is cool. That just popped up there. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend growing these Haramadu melons just because they grow well. I'm sure they'll be tasty. I don't know yet though. But yeah, this is a really fun bed, just like completely wild. It is probably one of my favorites. Okay. Here in this bed, Okinawan pink, okra. Another one that's not quite doing so well. I think it was a transplant, so that's probably why. A Sisu spinach clump. Weeds, lots of weeds, but it's okay. A ground cherry that came back from last year. We actually just planted this from store-bought ground cherries, so I don't know the variety. But they produced really well for us last year. And they're finally flowering again. They get really big before they flower, at least this one does, so. But they're really, really good. They're kind of like musky, like musky pineapple if you've never had them, but they're really good. Camo eggplant with a good amount of flowers on there. This is a bok choy that popped up from seed, but it looks like it's doing pretty well. I believe this is an Ahichera pita. It's doing just okay, but it is chugging along. So this is a Kourbaki sweet pepper, and we did get a few big ones already, but we ate them already. So they get like, they're curvy like this, and they'll be red when they're all the way ripe, and they get like that long. They're so cool looking, and they're very delicious. Sisu spinach, and then this is the only Ahichera pita that has fruit yet. So this is a really popular pepper in Peru. I guess like the chefs like to use it. And it's also apparently very, very expensive. But that's probably just because it's so teeny tiny. So it's like the price per pound is more expensive, but you're gonna get like 1,000 peppers for a pound. But yeah, they grow upwards on the plant, and they're just these teeny little round peppers. And they're supposed to be pretty dang spicy and like sweet also and citrusy, so we're excited to try these and probably make some hot sauce. And then I think next to it right here we have another Ahichera pita. We planted a lot of those because we're pretty excited about them. They just seem like they're so delicious. Okay, last bed here. I think this is a Rosa Bianca eggplant. Looks like it's about to set one. It's got a good amount of flowers. These leaves are so giant on this eggplant. I don't know why, but I like it. I planted another radish down here. It's right here, just for the seed pods. There's a strawberry in the middle of this bed. I know the grass is atrocious, but we're living with it. More okra plants, Okinawan pink. And then in here is a jalapeno from last year. And we've gotten a good amount of peppers off of it. We have a ground cherry here, another one. I don't know if I see any flowers. Oh, there's a flower. So they're just starting to flower. And then I believe this is an ahi cheripita. No flowers yet. And then a sisu spinach. So that is the garden. So let me take you guys over to where I'm growing the transplants, and I'll show you what we have ready to transplant in and why we grow transplants. But first, let's give the ducks these cherry tomatoes. Gilbert. Okay, so the way I see it, there's only 3 cons to growing transplants. It's more effort and time. It's a little bit more money because you have to buy or make separate soil, and then you have to put them in pots. And a lot of times they get a little bit of transplant shock. But there are so many pros, and for me they outweigh the cons. So seeds and seedlings are super sensitive. They could dry out really easily and get too wet really easily and just rot away. So it's way easier for me to control the moisture in a pot. It rains so much here, so it's really easy for seeds to just get washed away and you won't know where they are. And then another reason is I always forget where I put seeds. So that's pretty much the reasons that I like growing in pots. So let me show you what we have ready for transplant. Okay, so here we have mostly sisu spinach. There's a longevity spinach and a parlor maple hibiscus. Some super baby, that's the rooster. Some super baby peppers. These are some jaboticabas. These are not going to go in the garden. These are cuttings of the midnight snack cherry tomato. And then a lot of peppers. These are eggplants. Mostly peppers and eggplants is what we have ready for transplant, because I found out that okra really doesn't like to be transplanted. So yeah, just a good amount of peppers and eggplants, and this is pretty much all that we have here. And we don't label those pots either, because I can make a label for them and then we're just gonna plant it in the garden and throw the label away and just forget anyways. So there's no point of wasting that time and making that garbage. And it's also kind of fun to wait till it fruits and then like figure out what you have, which is like what we're doing right now. So yeah, that's the garden, that's the transplants. Let me show you the bananas and the papayas really quick. So we planted this papaya from seed like just about a year ago, and it kind of topped itself this winter. Like it died back there and then just came back like this, which is super awesome. So it'll be shorter and produce more fruit, I think. So there's a papaya there and it's setting a lot of fruit right now. So we got lucky and we got a hermaphrodite. With papayas you get female, male, or hermaphrodite. And you could grow like a female and a male right next to each other and they'll probably set fruit. You may want to hand pollinate them. But if you have a hermaphrodite, you don't have to do anything. So we got super lucky with the hermaphrodite. And I think this is, I don't know, just one of the bigger ones from the grocery store that we got the seeds from. Maybe, I think Caribbean Red. So we're super excited to get those fruit. And then these bananas are getting massive. So this right here is a dwarf Cavendish, and it's like tall. Like I'm 5'5", and this is the main one right here. And I really think it's gonna fruit soon. I feel like I've seen dwarf bananas fruit shorter than that. And here's a Grand Nain, which is super similar to a Cavendish. This is like the Chiquita banana, if you go get those at the store. And then this is like all the other bananas that you'd buy at the store is gonna be a Cavendish banana. And then this is just the dwarf version of the plant. but there are so many little pups under here. That's how bananas propagate, is they just make little babies right under them. So we'll have to dig some of those out soon. And then here's the Grand Nains pups. But yeah, growing bananas is so much fun, and super, super easy. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the garden and a couple other things that are growing on. Stay tuned for more updates. I'll try to do them a little bit more often than once a month, especially since everything is growing so quickly right now. But yeah, comment down below with any questions, and thank you so much for watching.